EV Comply, simplifying your ChargePoint installations.
It's Friday the 25th of February, which means another week, another roundup brought to you directly from EV Comply. This week, WiTricity, the leader and pioneer in wireless charging for EVs, has announced plans to offer an aftermarket wireless charging upgrade package for owners of select EV models. The WiTricity Halo upgrade will deliver an 11 kilowatt wireless charging. It will enable a charge rate that provides up to 35 to 40 miles of driving range per hour of charging time, a speed and efficiency upgrade that will include three key components: the power receiver that is installed on the vehicle, the wall box that connects to the electric power, and the charging pad that is installed on or in ground. WiTricity Halo charging will be initially available in the United States to owners of select EVs. It will then later on from 2022 be rolled out, followed by broader availability throughout 2023. Alex Grunzed, who's CEO of WiTricity, said, "Our research has shown us that consumers want wireless charging for their EVs, and we want to provide it." In other news this week, the Tesla Model Y just snagged the top EV title on car shopping site Cars.com. The £58,990 electric SUV was named the best electric vehicle of 2022 on Monday. The best of winners will continue rolling out this week for 5 other categories, like the best luxury car. So make sure you keep on top of Cars.com if you want to see who's winning those titles. So obviously with an EV, it is all about the battery. But there has become some battery draining myths out there that we feel need squashing. Now, if you were on your phone all the time, you'd obviously be concerned about the charge and what you were doing on the phone as to how it was draining the battery. And this is the same, I suppose, with a car. Now, one of the biggest myths is, in fact, the lighting in an EV. A lot of owners will be pleased to hear that it consumes very little power. Calculations estimated are that a vehicle's entire exterior lighting system, when used in a typical manner, accounts for about 48.80 watts, really. So this is not a lot at all. And for a vehicle with an energy consumption of, say, 180, which includes EVs such as the Porsche Taycan, the Tesla Model Y Performance, the Kia EV6 Long Range, and the Volkswagen ID4, this equates to basically 0.27 km, or just 270 meters of range per hour of driving. So the lighting is not something that you really need worry about. The second thing is, in fact, the car infotainment display. Now, these have grown significantly in the past decade, to the point that some span the entire width of the cabin, particularly with Teslas. Now, some equipment with powerful video game systems are boasting a 10 teraflop of power. That's roughly equal to a PlayStation 5. Now, of course, this uses battery, but it is useful to know that powerful sound systems make use of capacitors to regulate their electrical demands. Now, these are trickle charged by the vehicle and then used to give the system a quick jolt of electricity when extra power is needed, such as when reaching that headline 2,200 watt for a milestone. So you don't really need to worry at all about the gaming or the sounding system. And then the third myth is quite a funny one, I suppose, and that is the number of passengers and luggage. This is frequently asked on forums about EV cars. Will this change the energy required to bring the vehicle up to speed? Now, it's not reflected at all in a very simple answer because, of course, weight does change a lot of things in any vehicle, regardless as to whether it's an EV or not. But it is saying that it's not reflected in a simple 70 mile per hour cruise example. Of course, you can expect a small change in tyre friction, which could possibly slow things down, but nothing that should stop you purchasing an EV. Cupra plots an EV range expansion and substantial sales increase. The Spanish performance brand plans to double its global sales and expand its bespoke EV lineup. The Seat-owned performance brand sold 79,300 cars worldwide in 2021, and that's a 189% increase over 2020. They have plans to double this to nearly 160,000 units in this year alone for 2022, which would be more than a third of the volume of its parent company. The ambition forms as part of an overarching strategy called Cupra x2, which will also see Cupra double its sales network and ultimately its turnover. 7 years after the Dubbo City Council first pioneered an all-electric vehicle for its mayor, the Dubbo's mayor vehicle will once again be a full EV, this time in the form of the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Now, having been returned to the position of mayor, Dickerson is again taking the electric vehicle initiative. Similarly, councils around Australia are slowly beginning to recognise the value of electric vehicles. The question is, should all council mayors follow suit worldwide and be forced to drive an EV? I mean, surely everybody should be leading from the front, right? Charging your electric vehicle is just as important as the EV itself. Charging networks are incredibly important, whether they're on your daily commute or just planning a cross-country road trip. The largest EV charging network in the US is in fact ChargePoint. They're helping to reduce new electric vehicle owners' range anxiety across the country. ChargePoint is the largest EV charging network in the United States with over 30,000 charging stations. However, ChargePoint has a different business model than other networks, opting to install chargers at various locations, such as retailers, businesses, apartment buildings, and other public locations, allowing EV owners to charge at whatever rate they would like. The company states on its website that it has delivered over 105 million chargers worldwide, which includes all different levels of chargers for businesses, apartments, buildings and homes in general. They continue to grow and this theory continues to work. Food for thought for other charging networks who are also looking to increase their users. EV goes all showbiz yet again. Environmentalist, TV presenter and author Philippa Forrester has joined forces with Hendy Group and its Hendy EV brand to help guide customers towards an electric future on the road. Forrester will present a range of videos and share her real-life experiences of driving an electric car. Hendy Chief Executive Paul Hendy said the move to electric power continues to gather pace and says Hendy wants to ensure that customers are fully informed on every step of their journey. Now, here at EV Comply, we've had a celebrity endorsement of our own. Danny from McFly contacted the company to have an EV charger fitted. We were more than happy to help him with that one, and you can check out the video of this on our social media channels. In other news this week, MG has teased a new electric vehicle ahead of its debut later this year. The company didn't say much about the model, but they have confirmed it was designed with UK consumers in mind. We do also know that the EV is slightly larger than the Volkswagen ID3. The teaser video shows a crossover or hatchback that features plastic body cladding as well as aerodynamically optimized 17-inch alloy wheels. The model also sports streamlined styling, a prominent shoulder line and a stylish rear end that vaguely recalls the Kia EV6. We can also see a contrasting black or panoramic glass roof, which is very popular in the EV game at the moment. New figures show the growing disparity between the relative success of electric vehicle charging device grant schemes. The Department for Transport statistics show there are more than 250,000 home charging devices, but just 2,038 devices installed through the on-street residential charging scheme. As of January the 1st, the OZEV-funded grant schemes, the Electric Vehicle Home Charge Scheme and its predecessor, the Domestic Recharging Scheme, had delivered 277,030 domestic charging devices since 2013, with 88,624 device installations funded since January the 1st, 2021. That's an increase of almost 60%. Meanwhile, the Workplace Charging Scheme had funded the installation of 22,977 sockets in the workplace car parks at the start of the year, since the scheme started in 2016. It had funded 9,648 socket installations since since January the 1st, 2021. That's an increase of 72%. However, as of January the 1st, the on-street residential ChargePoint scheme had funded just 2,038 public charging devices for local authorities in the UK. The AA is also urging the Treasury to cut VAT to 5% for on-street charging, mirroring domestic charging rates to avoid the creation of a two-tier system. The AA said, "We also believe that the scaling back of the home charging grant from the 1st of April sends the wrong message at a time when EV sales are booming." Interestingly, this week, GoEV have announced that they aim to transform global EV charging infrastructure by allowing multiple vehicles to be charged from a single power source. GoEV has developed a dock chain, an initiative charging technology that can replenish EVs at scale. In a nutshell, it allows multiple parking spaces to be rapidly electrified from one base power source, creating what company co-founder and CEO Hugh Sheeny describes as a daisy chain of inexpensive and simple charging points. Dockchain can create a world where you don't have to think about which parking space has charging, because they all do, he says. Music to the ears of owners everywhere who have had to queue for charging points or have driven to a point only to find that it's not working. Another scheme that seems to be working in the EV world over in America is in fact Charger Help. Now, this is a startup that services and repairs EV charging stations in nearly a dozen states. The Los Angeles-based company works with station operators, utilities, software firms and the manufacturers so that drivers can charge up seamlessly. They wear a black polo shirt with an orange logo that says Charger Helps, and basically they hop into their cars and drive to the service sites. Along the way, they will call the EV station operator and ask them to turn off the electrical supply to the charger. Then they will park up and set about solving the mystery of the malfunctioning machine. It seems to be working over in America, and it's definitely needed here in the UK as well. So that's all from me. I'm back with you, of course, next Friday. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. From everybody here at EV Comply, we hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we also hope you head over to our social media channels to see Danny from McFly having his charger fitted at his very cool studio. He's another celebrity who's entered the EV game.